Boys Season 3 is the third season of the American superhero television series The Boys, the first series in the franchise based on the comic book series of the same name, written by Garth Ennis and Darick Robertson. It was developed for television by American writer and television producer Eric Kripke. The season is produced by Sony Pictures Television in association with Point Grey Pictures, Original Film, Kripke Enterprises, Kickstart Entertainment, and KFL Nightski Productions. The show's third season stars Karl Urban, Jack Quaid, Antony Starr, and Jensen Ackles, and takes place a year after the events of the previous season. The story follows the titular boys now working for Victoria Neuman's Bureau of Superhero Affairs to apprehend problematic Supes, having been at peace with the Seven. However, the conflict is resumed once more when Butch begins to investigate the truth about the apparent death of Soldier Boy, one of Vaught's first American superheroes, with the hopes of killing Homelander for good. Meanwhile, Homelander's mental stability begins to deteriorate as Vought attempts to restrict his power, while other Seven members such as Starlight and Queen Maeve assist the boys in their plot against him. The season was announced ahead of the second season premiere on July 23, 2020, at the after-show hosted by Aisha Taylor for the 2022 San Diego Comic-Con at Home. The show was released on a weekly basis on the streaming service Amazon Prime Video, premiering its first 3 episodes on June 3, 2022, while the rest ran from July 8, 2022. The season has received critical praise from critics for screenplay, black humor, action sequences, character development, storyline, and performances, particularly Urban, Starr, and Ackles. On June 10, 2022, the series was renewed for a 4th season. The show's premise is set in a universe with superpowered individuals called Supes that are recognized as heroes by the general public and work for the powerful corporation known as the Vought International that markets and monetizes them. Outside their heroic personas, though, they are mostly arrogant, selfish, and corrupt. The series primarily focuses on 2 groups, the Seven, Vaught's premier superhero team, and the Boys, the vigilantes looking to bring down Vought and its corrupt superheroes. The main cast includes Karl Urban as William Billy Butcher, the leader of the Boys and a former SAS operative who distrusts all Supes. He has a particular hatred towards Homelander, who he believes is responsible for the disappearance of his wife. Jack Quaid as Huey Campbell Jr., a civilian tech specialist who joins the Boys after his girlfriend Robin is killed by A-Train. Anthony Starr as John Homelander, the leader of the Seven and the strongest superhero in the world. Beneath his public image as a noble hero, he's an egotistical megalomaniac and cares little about the well-being of those he professes to protect. In the 3rd season, it is revealed that he's the biological son of Soldier Boy. Erin Moriarty as Annie January, or Starlight, a superhero with light-based powers and a member of the Seven. One of the few Supes sincere about helping and saving innocent people with her abilities. She questions her loyalty to the Seven after learning of their true character, ultimately leaving the group for the Boys in the 3rd season finale. Dominique McElligott as Maggie Shaw, Queen Maeve, a veteran member of the Seven with superhuman strength and durability. Although she once wanted to protect innocent lives like Starlight does, she does become disillusioned by the corruption of the Supe society and suffers from burnout. In the 3rd season finale, she becomes depowered and hidden following her battle with Soldier Boy and her presumed death. Jessie T as Reggie Franklin, or A-Train, a speedster member of the Seven. A-Train is obsessed with maintaining his status as the fastest speedster in the world, resulting in him becoming addicted to Compound V. He later gets heart transplant from Blue Hawk in the 3rd season that lets the former live due to his multiple heart failures he experiences whenever he uses Compound V. Laz Alonso as Marvin T. Mother's Milk, MM, the second in command of the Boys, who is responsible for organizing and planning the operations. Formerly a medic in the United States Marine Corps, he joins the Boys after his father, who was an attorney, worked himself to death while attempting to bring down Vought through the legal system. Chace Crawford as Kevin Marshowitz, the Deep, a member of the Seven who possesses the ability to communicate with aquatic life and breathe underwater. He's looked down upon by the other members of the Seven due to his status as the group's token aquatic hero. Tomia Capone as Sergio Frenchie, the French member of the Boys and an international arms trafficker skilled in munitions, ordnance, infiltration and communications. Coerced into joining the group by Mallory to protect his criminal friends, he seeks redemption for his past crimes by fighting against Vought. Karen Fukuhara as Kimiko, the female, a mute member of the Boys with a super strength and regenerative healing who speaks through sign language. Involuntarily injected with Compound V as part of Homelander's scheme to create superpowered terrorists, she joins the Boys after they rescue her. Nathan Mitchell as Irving, or Black Noir, a silent member of the Seven who possesses superhuman strength and agility and conceals his physical appearance behind a dark costume. Claudia Doumit as Victoria Vic Neuman, or Nadia, a congresswoman who publicly opposes Vought, but who is secretly a Supe who uses her psychic powers to assassinate the corporation's enemies on behalf of her adoptive father, Stan Edgar. In the 3rd season finale, she plans to run for Vice President of the United States. And finally, Jensen Ackles as Ben, or Soldier Boy, a legendary Supe with superhuman strength and speed who was originally thought to be killed by the Russians during the Cold War. However, he was actually portrayed by Black Noir and the Crimson Countess to the Russians and has been held captive by them for decades. It is revealed that he is Homelander's biological father. Now, The Boys Season 3 manages to up the ante on what was already one of television's most audacious satires. The Boys' third season is both bracingly visceral and wickedly smart, and it goes from strength to strength between the actors, the writers, and the direction of the show. The show is just absolutely wonderful in so many aspects. Every episode guarantees at least a level of bloodshed, and gory bits will definitely leave you wincing or having your jaw drop in shock. This show really does pull no punches, and the whole point of the show is to shock you, to make you think, and of course to leave you breathless at times. The tension on screen at times is absolutely pulsating as you wait and see what every episode will bring. Thankfully, as always, The Boys finds its sweet spot, and it does so via characters more identifiable and conflicted, and far more grounded than any of these sort of over-top superhero movies that we tend to see. 3 seasons in, and The Boys has earned its place as one of the best superhero television series of all time, and one of the finest original shows. Obviously, still not for the faint of heart, though. The superhero satire returns more angrier and more direct than ever. For me, the creators here are completely fearless, and for those for a stomach for it, they will find a great story behind all the violence and visual effects, and maybe some more of the outlandish storylines. At its heart, though, it actually really is, quite fundamentally, a good story, with absolutely fascinating 3-dimensional characters. There are times the show is completely insane, blood-soaked and dick-filled journey into a twisted world where the superheroes are just as corrupt and monstrous as the government agencies that puppeteer them. The world is ready and willing to buy into this madness and enable it. For me, it's jarring to see the direct references to things like Trump have said or did, and even though he's no longer president. Fortunately, The Boys, though, feels like a work made by people who have plenty of ammunition for both sides of the aisle. There is no ideology or monopoly of craving power here, or worshipping those who amass it. Rather, it is a statement on those who push too far. I love the cynicism which the stories are approached, and the subject matter speaking on more of the state of the world in addition to the extra element of superhumans. There are so many relevant and fascinating points made, from having too much power to political agendas and ideologies, and the show even has a dig at Hollywood's new obsession with the comic book phase as they try and make more and more money with every comic book movie released. The acting from all the cast is absolutely on point and fantastic, but here I must point out particularly Antony Starr as Homelander. He is one of the most vile, evil antagonists ever in TV history, and he plays this role to absolute perfection. You have this sense of a complete and utter fear and dread every time he's on screen, as he is so unpredictable and can snap in an instant. His multi-layered, nuanced performance here is outstanding, as he goes from happy to sad, angry to arrogant within seconds. And for me, as detestable as he is, he really does make the show, even though you really want the boys to conquer him in the end. Karl Urban is fantastic as both the foul-mouthed and cold-hearted, with a touch of warmth every now and again. The leader of the boys, of course, Billy Butcher. Jensen Ackles is on point as the new character Soldier Boy, a complex figure, obviously built around the patriotism of the Captain America character. But as with anything within The Boys, this whole premise is built on the fantasy gone bad. Cynical, fearless, beautifully written, with some fantastic characters and phenomenal performances, The Boys Season 3 has been a phenomenal season once again. And with a fantastic cliffhanger at the end of Episode 8 in Season 3, I cannot wait for Season 4 to come around next year. The Boys Season 3 gets a 9.5 out of 10.